What's up, guys? Operator Poopski here again for part 3 of our 8-part series detailing the weapons in Onward. Today we are still in the Marsoc faction, focusing on the support class, and this is the fun class because this is where all the LMGs are. So to start out, we have the M249. It is belt fed, chambered in 5.56. 200 rounds and 3 magazines. That's 600 bullets. Holy shit. That's a lot of bullets. Penetration very high, range very high, 700 meters, recoil significantly high, but if you put a foregrip on there, it works out pretty well. Rate of fire, it's a machine gun. It's an LMG. Come on. Damage significantly high. The bolt type is closed, and the magazine type is manual release. This one, there's only 2 belt-fed weapons in the game, and it's a little bit tricky compared to everything else on reloading. We'll go over that. And obviously, only in full auto. Let's go shoot some Okay, boom. All right, so first off, thing you need to remember about belt-fed weapons in this game. Again, only 2 belt-fed weapons, the M249 and the PKM, but that's Volk. At the start of any round, you have to load it first. There's no other gun like that. Any other gun, you start with a cartridge in the chamber. Here, no, you have to load it. So, it's a... 3-step process? 4-step process? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're not taking a foregrip and a bipod, you're making a mistake. You might not use the bipod as much, but it's good to have if you find yourself in a position where you can set up somewhere and just lay down some fire. I'm just showing you the base gun as an example of what it's like without a foregrip or a bipod. If you shoot more than 2 rounds, you'll see it's all over the place. That being said, the rate of fire fantastic, but I'm not hitting very much. So to reload, if your magazine isn't, if your belt isn't empty, you have to open her up, take the belt off the feed, then you can press the mag release button, and you have to pull it off. Then you can start a fresh belt. Now, we'll go back and I'll show you an example of what it's like with the foregrip and a bipod. Okay, so as you see, we got a foregrip now and a bipod. Right. Obviously, huge difference with the foregrip on. I don't know why anyone would ever want to shoot this thing without the foregrip. Now, the bipod is a little bit harder to use, and you obviously need a bit of a better position to use it in. But considering the points it costs to take it and the overall points that you would spend on the class itself, I would say that it's worth it to take the bipod. So, you just slam that down, and this thing is going to be able to light up. And the thing to remember about support classes is it's not just about hitting guys. It's about being able to lay down fire to a specific area. It's about suppression. Maybe in co-op, that's not so important. They do get suppressed a little bit in co-op, but in PvP, that's super important. If you were able to find the whole squad of guys, or maybe just 2, or even just 1, and you were able to have the bipod out. Jeez, you should reload better than I do. And you were able to have the bipod out, and let's just say they were behind that wrecked APC, right? You're right here. You know they're back there, either on either side of it, and you just have your gun loaded, and you just are doing that. Dude, those guys aren't going anywhere. They are suppressed, and meanwhile, you have 200 rounds. Meanwhile, your buddies are flanking or whatever, or throwing a grenade. That's what's up. Now, that being said, if you're not trying to do suppressing fire, you know, this thing can still rip. If you're moving down a map and you're seeing guys, if you keep these short controlled bursts, you know, you can do some work. And this goes for any of the support classes. We'll go on to the next one. Oh, wait. Lest I not do the Rambo. Next up on the list is the L86A2 LSW, which is a mouthful. We'll just say L86. 5.56 NATO, hold open, manual released, all the same stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, the other one was closed bolt. So this one is interesting because it functions like a lot of the other Marsoc assault rifles that are in 5.56. You know, you have the hold open bolt. It's manual release, but you have the semi-auto, full auto, but it's an LMG. It has a drum mag on there. 100 rounds versus the 200 that you have on the other one. So you do have significantly less ammunition, but might I note, it comes in semi-auto, and that's great because this thing can essentially function as a carbine or assault rifle if you keep it in semi-auto with a decent optic on it. But you have 100 rounds, so you could seriously do some shooting, some accurate shooting, controlled accurate shooting. This one is my favorite. I'll tell you the truth. You know, penetration's high, the range very high, 800 meters. Recoil is controllable with the foregrip, which again, if you're not taking the foregrip, you're making a mistake. Rate of fire is very good, and the damage is significant. Let's go check it out. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, it's a bullpup, so it's a bit more controllable in closed spaces. You have a better movement with it. It's a cool gun. Also important to note, this gun is British made. Not that there's anything wrong with that technically, but like I said before, this game is populated with a lot of Americans and a lot of ex-military vets. So first off, thank you for your service. But if they catch you using this, be prepared to get made fun of with a lot of very vulgar British jokes. But that being said, this is my guy when I'm doing support. So obviously you have the semi-auto. So right there, 100 bullets worth of that. And that, you can't really find that anywhere else in the game. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only gun where you're going to have that kind of magazine capacity at semi-auto. But at the same time, and I love having options, crack it over to full auto, and you have some very controllable full automatic fire. And with the bipod, eesh. Yeah, I don't know why I tried to go prone. That didn't work out. But with I'm too far away from the sandbags. I'm not going to bother. But it's a great gun. Honestly, I know that the American military vets are gonna hate me for this, but I would take this over the M249 any day. I don't even use the M249. Not to say it's a bad gun, but this is just, the flexibility of this is superior. Cat, what do you want, Cat? You keep meowing at me. Huh? Okay, and last on the support class, and they only have 3 options, is the M16A4. Again, now you might be wondering, why would I bother taking this as a support class when it's available as a rifleman class? It is actually the same gun, it has all the same stats, but the exception that you get 7 magazines as opposed to the 4. And like that's almost twice as many bullets. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. But you also are able to equip it with a bipod. Maybe that doesn't mean anything to you, but this thing with a bipod and 7 magazines, you can do some work with that. And I would say where the M249 is the Rambo of the support class, where it's just shooting at full auto, and the L86A2 is in between that with the semi-auto and the drum-fed magazine. The M16 is not as beefy as either of the two, but it's a nice balance between maneuverability, total ammunition, controllability. Is that a word? You know, it is just an M16, but you have a bunch of bullets. You can do the bipod, and if you have the right sight on that, you can essentially be a bit of a sniper with the semi-auto. You can go ahead and be a bit more liberal with your shooting. And who cares, because you have so many bullets. And also, it's important to note that it would be the only support class weapon that has a 3-round burst. And you'll notice you can drop some pretty tight groupings, whether you're suppressing someone or you're trying to shoot a group of guys. So the point being, don't count it out just because it's a repeat gun on the list of guns available to you. Just bear in mind that there's a difference not just in the gun, but in the class itself. Okay guys, that's it for this video on support classes. Stay tuned next time when we'll get into the marksman class, and I'll see you next time.